Welcome back, Facnatics. Lighting design has changed a lot in the last 50 years. If you don't know the latest terms in technology, though, there's a good chance you'll end up with a build or remodel that just doesn't light up your life. Luckily, I can get you educated in less than 20 minutes, so whether you're an industry professional or interested in upgrading the lighting in your home, this video is definitely a can't miss. I'm Brett Bjorquist, head Facnatic, and today we're discussing key terms in technology in lighting design. Let's start with the basics of lighting design. There are three main types of lighting in a room: ambient lighting, task lighting, and accent lighting. First, let's define ambient lighting. Ambient lighting is the primary layer of light in a room. It provides overall illumination, making the space comfortable and visually appealing. It helps reduce shadows, creates a sense of warmth and coziness, and enhances the overall atmosphere. We'll talk about color temperature in a minute, but this is often a warmer light, although some prefer brighter white to help energize them during the day, especially if they don't have access to a lot of natural light and windows in the room. In the living room or bedroom, ambient lighting is most often accomplished with recessed lights, a central pendant light, and often a fan. There's an old industry saying, four cans and a fan, and that's because it's one of the most common ways an electrician executes lighting in a room. In fact, here's a few examples at the house we recently purchased, which of course has an HVAC system that's probably more efficient than running the fans in each room and definitely works a lot better. In the bathroom, it can often be a wall sconce above or on the sides of a mirror, or often a light in an exhaust fan or heater. This can be tough though if you only have one type of lighting, because we often want a different color temperature and brightness depending on if you're getting ready for work versus, say, the middle of the night. But that highlights the importance of including the next item, which is task lighting. Task lighting is focused illumination designed to help perform specific activities such as reading, cooking, working at a desk, or getting ready in the morning. It's important because it offers several benefits, including reducing eye strain, improved concentration, and is often used to create a dedicated work environment within a larger shared space. Think of a desk in a bedroom or your work from home space in the dining room. In a kitchen, under cabinet lighting or pendant lights over the countertop are ideal for food preparation, since often the recessed lights are positioned in the pathways, which can actually create shadows when you're standing between the light and the countertop. When designing with task lighting, consider factors such as light intensity, color temperature, and positioning to ensure effective illumination for specific tasks. Adjustable fixtures, dimmable options, and even tunable lighting add versatility to your lighting setup. Think back to that bathroom scene from a moment ago. When we're getting ready in the morning, a brighter and cooler color temperature is preferred, whether I'm shaving or my wife is putting on her makeup. But when I wake up at 3 a.m., I want to keep a dimmer, warmer light so it's easier to get back to sleep. Luckily, we'll discuss how to accomplish both types of tasks with the same bulb, and the point is that we often use a different lighting requirement for various tasks, yet are often stuck with a room that's entirely too dark or too bright for the task at hand because task lighting wasn't accounted for. Finally, we have accent lighting, a focused and directional type of illumination used to highlight specific objects, architectural features, or artwork within a room. Spending some time on accent lighting offers several benefits, including highlighting those focal points, adding dimension to a space, and enhancing the overall aesthetic appeal of the room. Again, this isn't just another recessed light pointing at the ground. We're trying to highlight a specific location, so when designing your accent lighting, consider factors such as beam angle, color temperature, and position to achieve the desired effect. Think of how great the art looks in your favorite gallery. They don't just light the room from the ceiling, they highlight each specific piece to make sure you'll notice it. They often take that art piece into a demo room to show you how various color temperatures can bring out different looks in the piece as well. The salesperson always seems to forget to mention that the lighting makes it look better in the gallery than when you bring it home. But with a bit of planning, it doesn't have to. If you've ever looked at a light bulb package, you've no doubt heard the term wattage. And what most people mean is brightness. Architects and electricians typically follow a basic formula for how much wattage is needed to evenly cover a space. This is the four cans and a fan approach I was discussing earlier. So they start by taking the height of the room and dividing that in half. That gives a rough estimate of how far apart the light should be. With an 8-foot ceiling, that means lights are typically 4 feet apart, or 5 feet apart for a 10-foot ceiling. You get the idea. For overall room wattage, you take the square footage of the room and multiply it by 1.5. So a 15 by 20 room needs about 450 watts to evenly cover the floor. But while that reasonably takes care of the ambient lighting, it doesn't really factor into the task lighting or accent lighting that really makes the room stand out. Plus, while wattage was reasonably accurate when incandescent bulbs were current, with LED, lumens, lux, and CRI are far more important terms to know when designing a room today. Lumen, lux, and wattage often get used interchangeably, often to describe the amount of energy needed to light a bulb to a specific brightness. However, dimmers, CFL, and now LED have made that number a bit more contextual, and LED bulbs may say they're equivalent to a 65-watt bulb, but only require 7.2 watts, as we can see here. The more correct term is lumen, which is the amount of light measured about 3 feet away from the bulb if you're in the US. Although they seem to take their formula construction from George Thorogood by measuring in meters to keep the numbers simpler.
One bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
So why is this number important? It's the brightest the light can get, so we use this as a starting point generically, while we figure out what's needed in the actual room. Now realistically, the bulb never actually gets as bright as it states on the box, because the fixture, dimmers, and inefficiencies throughout the chain reduce the actual amount of output. So a bit of headroom here can be beneficial, since we can always reduce lumens with a dimmer. So while lumens represents the potential of brightness for the bulb, lux is even more important, since it's the measurement of a light on an actual surface. That could be the floor, the countertop, the couch, or the book in your hand, which is really what we need to know for real-world applications. Now, depending on your eyesight, you may need a bit more, but here are some general guidelines for the required lux for various tasks. Now that we better understand how to measure brightness, we want to talk about CRI. This is a measurement of how accurately a light source displays colors compared to natural light. For example, we've all been in a place where fluorescent lighting seems to make everything look a bit bland in comparison to how it looks with natural light. This is effectively what CRI is measuring, so we want a number as close to 100 as possible. Now there are some cool technologies that offer vibrancy mode, which gives a slight boost to certain colors in the spectrum.
When I enhance this image with vibrancy, you'll start to notice the reds and the greens come out a lot more. I'm taking the same light color temperature, the same intensity, and I'm remixing it in a way that colors pop and become more vibrant for us. Every single piece of art has different characteristics, and this is the idea, to really hone in on the characteristics of the art. One more time, high color rendering, Ketra Vibrant. With Ketra, you have the ability to dial in how the image should really be shown, bringing out colors and details you may have never seen.
Think of it like an IG filter, in that it's super cool and fun to use in moderation, but ultimately we want the lighting in the room to provide color detail similar to what we get in direct sunlight. So look for bulbs with a CRI of 90 or higher to make sure that what you see at night has a similar look and feel to what you see during the day. While the scale is from 1 to 100, anything below 85 is considered inaccurate, and most reputable manufacturers are between 91 and 98. There isn't a simple formula for calculating or verifying this number, so we generally accept what's been tested on the box. As we discuss color accuracy, that's a great segue into the next area of discussion, which is color temperature measured in Kelvin. This can be a little confusing as Kelvin is often associated with physical temperature, but here's a relatively straightforward way to think about it. Think of it as the course of the day. During sunrise, we see lots of orange and yellows, which is about 2300 Kelvin and getting brighter, which signals to our brain that it's time to get up and get moving. At noon, we see the sun directly above, and it's a much more white color, about 5600 Kelvin, which is keeping our brains alert to things getting done. Finally, as we get towards the evening, sunset and that campfire glow bring us back to warmer colors. This lighting method can be used to mimic circadian rhythms, which we'll cover in another video, but effectively has to do with getting your inside lighting to match the outside lighting, and it's really cool when done properly. So which color is best for a room? It totally depends on the task or feeling you're trying to accomplish. But don't worry, I've got some best practices to help you decide. In a family room or bedroom we spoke about earlier, the ambient room temperature tends to be a bit warmer. That's because this is often an area where we're just getting started or winding down our day. Warmer temperatures in the 2700 to 3000 range help us to accomplish this, but these are the main rooms. And as work gets brought home, kids' homework, or even fun tasks come up, we often need a cooler, brighter temperature in the 3800 to 5000 range to better take care of those tasks. Now, there's some cool LED technology that allows a bulb to do both, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the point at the moment is to be thinking about the layout of the room. Will your teenager actually use a desk at the far end of the room, or are they more likely sitting on the bed? Making sure we have an option for these various scenarios is important. Otherwise, people end up not using the room, or worse, end up straining their eyesight and into glasses far earlier in life. Even worse, rooms like the kitchen often have a mixture of 3 or 4 different technologies and colors, because people grab what's available. Who can remember if a bulb was 2800 or 3200 Kelvin when we bought it 5 or 6 years ago? But those changes in colors don't just look horrible when you look up at the fixture. They're literally changing the color of that area of the room, which changes how the food looks, makes our eyes work harder, as our brains try to figure out why the food looked so appealing when it was being made, but now looks blah as it's being set out for dinner. I'll do a kitchen specific example when I swap out my existing lights, but here's a visual example of how color temperature can affect the look of a room. We can see how the colors in the color temperature affect the walls, the artwork, even the perceived color of my skin changes pretty dramatically. So we can't be throwing any available bulb in our ceilings. While we may want that warmer look to wind down, if you're in the bathroom applying makeup, you typically want a cooler, brighter bulb to make it easier to see and more closely replicate the look of daytime or the fluorescent colors in an office. But if we need dimmer, warmer lights for entertainment, plus brighter, whiter lights for cooking and other tasks, how do we choose which bulb to put in the room? Well, if you're planning ahead, you can design the room with the 3 layers of light we discussed earlier: ambient, task, and accent. But if the lighting layout already exists, the good news is LED technology has advanced to help you out. Now, LED bulbs aren't all created equal. Some don't dim without flickering, and some are so efficient they only dim down to about 10%. Enter tunable LED technology, a true game changer. It's not just about longevity. Tunable LED allows you to adjust the color of the light for different scenarios, providing both functionality and mood enhancement.
Oh, yeah.
The bulbs change Kelvin temperature whenever you want, meaning when you need a nice crisp white light to work, set it to 4800 Kelvin. Then, with the press of a button or a voice command, you can dim the light by 40% and adjust the color temperature to 2800 Kelvin to help unwind. You can even color match the fireplace to further expand that warm, cozy feeling throughout the rest of the room. Now, this technology comes in 3 major types: dim to warm, tunable LED, and RGB bulbs, which are further divided into 3 subtypes: RGB, RGBW, and RGBWW. So let's start with dim to warm bulbs. These bulbs are designed to mimic the color temperature of traditional incandescent bulbs as they dim. They start with a cooler temperature when fully illuminated and gradually transition to a softer, warmer glow as they dim.
DMF's warm dim technology respects the profound human relationship with light. A light that at 3000K is bright and inviting, but when dimmed to 1800K is warm and relaxing, like a sunset.
Dim to warm bulbs are ideal for creating a cozy and intimate ambient light source. They're perfect for spaces where you want the lighting to mimic traditional filament bulbs, and you don't see any need for controlling the color temperature directly, since these effectively just warm up a bit as you dim them, with no control as to how much color change in the warmth there is. Next, we have tunable bulbs. These bulbs allow you to adjust both the brightness and color temperature of the light. You can switch between warm and cool tones to suit different activities or moods. Tunable bulbs offer flexibility and customization, making them suitable for dynamic environments like offices, living rooms, and studios. They allow you to create the perfect lighting for any task or occasion. We've saved the best for last, and that's RGBW bulbs. These bulbs have individual red, green, blue, and white LEDs, allowing you to create a wide range of colors in addition to varying shades of white light. Less expensive RGB bulbs, not the W, create white by combining the red, green, and blue colors, which is far less accurate than RGBW, which has its own white LED, providing much higher color accuracy with all the benefits of tunable white light, plus the ability to add color for an even wider color palette. RGBW bulbs are ideal for adding a splash of color and creativity to your lighting design. They're great for parties, events, or creating themed lighting effects in entertainment spaces, but don't worry if you don't think you need a purple kitchen all the time. Most people use the tunable white functionality 80% of the time, but love the ability to add a little extra color to the rooms when they're entertaining. It's a small increase in cost and adds a whole new layer of look to the home whenever you want. Imagine a red, white, and blue scene for 4th of July, then moving to purple and orange for Halloween, red and pink for Valentine's Day, and so on. Even better, dimming and color control is shifting away from the switch and into the bulb itself, offering a far more personalized experience for each area of the room, all without needing to manually adjust multiple dimmers and switches or pay for costly rewiring, which is a plus if your home's already built like mine. What does that mean in simple terms? When the lights are controlled at the switch, like we've been used to, all of the lights attached to that switch do the same thing. If you have a dimmer, they all dim and brighten to the same rate and at the same amount. But when you put the controller in the bulb, now you can control each light, making it possible to keep one area of the room brightened while dimming another, even if the room wasn't originally wired that way. Or raise a Kelvin temperature in one area while you're trying to complete a task, while the rest of the area stays warmer and dimmer to let others in the room relax. The possibilities are endless, and once you better understand how you want to use your home, some quick programming lets you program scenes based on your specific needs, not some random electrician's 10-minute design. Simply put, this technology will positively affect everyone's life, full stop. The main things here to remember are 4 cans and a fan alone is not a lighting plan. Make sure each room has proper ambient, task, and accent lighting, and you'll be surprised at how much more you love being in the room. At the bare minimum, put in some dimmers, but realize that basic LEDs often don't work well with basic dimmers, so either test them out yourself or make sure your electrician can confirm that they have a real dimmable range from at least 5% to 100. Better ones go down to 1%, and the best can actually get down to 0.1%. Color temperature is ultra important. People often aren't happy with the color of their lights coming from the bulb when you use the same bulbs everywhere. Warmer in the bedrooms and hallways, cooler for the kitchens and bath. An even better option is tunable LED, which allows you to change the color temperature depending on the task. And the best is RGBW, which gives you the ability to have tunable lighting all the time, while adding additional color for those special events, date nights, or the kids area. Hopefully you feel more comfortable with the various terms of technology in the lighting design space. Of course, the best practices and requirements for each room vary, so I'm creating a 10-part video series covering general room requirements, lighting technologies, everything you need to know to be able to make qualified decisions for one of the most important options in your home. And rather than just talk about it, I'm going to show you room by room what I'm buying for my own home, as well as test some additional options so you understand the differences between the best, better, and good, and can ultimately make the decision that's right for you. We'll explore lighting design in the kitchen, family room, bedroom, office, bathroom, outdoors, even the hallways and common areas. We'll also delve into automation options. Be sure to like and subscribe so I know you're watching. I typically make content like this for the various building trades, but with the advances in technology for lighting, shades, audio, media rooms, and more, I started Facnatics to help educate consumers on the various options, since these are the investments you'll be living with for a long time. So drop a comment to let me know how I'm doing, or mention additional topics you'd like to see covered in the future. And if you're new to the channel, I'm Brett Bjorquist, Head Facnatic, and welcome to the Facn family.